Welcome to Moana's Meadow Report. Today is August 20th, 2018. It's a Monday. I'm Moana. And let's see, I've got a couple topics I wanted to talk about, so let's get them out the way. I did not have a no-spend day again, so that was sad. I don't know how many days I have left in the month. I think like 14 days. And so I'm really, really determined to get one no-spend day in this month. The next topic was we're kind of off our morning routine. We didn't go to the gym, and I was really exhausted because I was kind of binge watching some Grant Cardone YouTube videos that I just really love Grant Cardone. He is just so, I don't know the right word to describe him other than authentic. Like, he just kind of goes off. And it looks like he's bragging, and it looks like this, and it looks like that. But I think he's a Taurus, maybe. But he just cracks me up so hard. I love watching him. So I stayed up pretty late. So then after I dropped my husband off at work, I came home to take a power nap. Went to work, usually when I go to work, I'm what I like to call step and fetch it. I'm helping out this one department and doing another thing somewhere else, and back and forth all over the place. So I don't mind being step and fetch it. It's fine with me. I just know, hey, my checks are a lot bigger than what they were. Well, considerably bigger than when I worked at Home Depot, because Home Depot, I was getting my wages garnished, and that's always interesting because I don't know if you know this, but by law, you're only allowed to have one company garnish you at a time. And then, what's the other thing? And they're only allowed to garnish 25% of your wages. So when I was working at Home Depot, it felt like I was working for free just because I was contributing quite a bit to my 401k. And then I was getting garnished, and then it just felt like I was barely getting a couple $100s on my paycheck. And I was like, what is all of this worth? Like, I'm working so hard. So it was really depressing, but I had two jobs. I worked at a restaurant called Johnny Carino's. And that, when you work at a restaurant, it's really great to work in the food industry because you understand what people are going through in a sense. You understand what a grind it is and a hustle. And when I worked there, I got paid $2.13 an hour, which I think is the same across the board at other restaurants. And so you get a really deep appreciation for learning how to tip well, because you're just going, come on, people, I only get paid $2.13 an hour. And you just hope someone tips you well. And it was on rare occasion that you get tipped well. I used to think, before Donald Trump was our president, I used to be like, I wish I was that guy that Donald Trump said to him, what's the biggest tip you've ever had? And, this server worked, like, the lore is the server worked at a really high up place. So he said, the biggest tip I ever got was like $2,000 or whatever. So then Donald Trump, so I don't know if this is true, but Donald Trump gave him cash, $10,000, and said, okay, there. Now this is the biggest tip you've ever had. And so I would always dream of, like, someone coming in, asking that question or whatever, and then, like, dropping at that time in my life, I was just like, I'll be happy with a hundo or 2 Benjis or whatever. And the most I've ever been tipped was my dad, and that was $150. And it was painful just because the words he said after that were, here's some money, I know you need it. And I'm like, you know what? If you're going to put it that way, you could take the tip back. Like, I don't know. Because I'm already in that mindset mode, so don't give me that money as a tip. If it's just a gift anyway, just give it as a gift, you know? And just say, say something else. Don't say, I know you need it. Meh. Like, I don't know. It was really, to me, my feelings were very, very hurt. And I didn't get a chance to express that to him before he passed. But, yeah, so I always dreamed about a really big tip, and even the cash that came in from that job, it still didn't make up for the fact that I felt like I was making pennies at Home Depot. So where I work now, I'm like, I am more than happy to be a step and fetch it and go here, there, and everywhere. Like, because compared to when I was working 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs, like, it just felt like it wasn't worth it. And I had a different mindset about money. Things were more raw all the time. Like, anytime something was painful or hurt, like a bill couldn't be paid, it was usually multiplied by 100, because then if you can't pay this bill, then that means you really can't pay that bill. And it also means you really, 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 really can't pay this other bill, you know. And I was borrowing money from people all the time, from my coworkers, from my friends. Hey, can you spot me 20? I need gas money. So that just wasn't a fun time. But it's nice to know when you're in a spot like that, you know that there's certain people that you could totally count on or trust, or, you know, call up. But it's just not a fun feeling. So why was I telling you about that? Oh, yeah, I'm happy to do step and fetch it where I work right now. Completely happy. Oh, so that was what I was doing today, just all over the place. And then I spoke to a coworker, and I was talking to her about how me and my husband were trying to get pregnant, and, you know, how everything's going to be completely different for me, because instead of having someone else breastfeed my son, I would be breastfeeding my child this time around. So it was, that time was painful too. I mean, there's been a lot of interesting, painful times, and it's almost like I can't even compare them. My childhood was super painful. My giving my son up for adoption was super painful. The hardships that we're feeling with the sense of scarcity we had, and the fear, and maybe even terror, and sense of lack regarding money. I mean, that was just, maybe you can't even compare. They're all just bad. So, yeah, I think I'm running out of time. I wanted to tell you what my coworker said to me on what her suggestion is for anyone that's going to have a baby. And so I'll just have to make a note to myself to tell that on the next video. So I hope you have an amusing rest of your night, or day, or morning, or weekend, afternoon. And yeah, stay amusing, and meow.